Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market positions for June the 16th, 2010. Now our first trade for tonight is going to be again in light sweet crude oil contracts. We can see that we have the triple EMA crossover getting ready to make its move. We have the 3-day crossing over the 8-day, and the 8-day getting ready to cross over that 18-day predicted moving average, which suggests a bigger move in crude oil is coming. We've been trading this long for several weeks now, buying it off that $69 to $70 range. Those longs doing quite well. Now, looking at tomorrow's trade, we can see that our predicted medium and long-term differences are now both positive. Everything looks good there. Our predicted MACD is just crossing over the zero line. Again, we're getting into what appears to be a trending move, which also looks good. Predicted true strength indicator from Vantage Point pointing higher, not quite above that zero line yet, but everything still looks good for the light sweet crude. Now let's identify some key levels of pivot support in this particular case. This comes in at 74.02, 74.40, and 75.61. So 75.61 is going to be a focus for our trade for tomorrow. Now, the reason I'm saying 75.61, the 3-day predicted moving average from Vantage Point, is because we're getting into a trending move, and when we see this, the pullbacks in this particular case are likely to be very shallow. Now let's go in and have a look at the daily report. We've gone through, looked at our major, we've looked at our predicted differences, predicted MACD, and the predicted true strength, all of which are supporting further long positions. Now let's go into the daily report and see if we can narrow down that entry point. Now looking at things here, we can see that we've got we've had a good strong close above $76. For tomorrow we have 75.56, so this coincides with that 3-day predicted moving average and a high of 77.57. So we're going to be looking for a pullback towards that 75.60, 75.70 area, and we're going to use that pullback to then get into the buy positions. Because again, with this triple EMA crossover getting ready to make the completed cross, this should push us back towards this $80 a barrel again. Now, again, we're going to experience volatility with the equities and some of the currencies, particularly the US dollar, but I anticipate a bigger move on crude oil coming. We've pushed past this 75.50, 75.60 area, which has been a tough area as of late. We can see the multiple candlesticks here sitting just over this $75 a barrel. So with that close, close to $77 a barrel, that's a very bullish move in my opinion, and we were able to pick up on this actually over a week ago. So everything looks good for that. Now let's go into our next trade. We're going to have a look at we're going to go into the currency markets. Now we're going to be looking at the British pound US dollar. Yes, last night we were trading the US Canadian pair. Very successful trade. That trade is I've taken that trade in my own account, booked over 120 pips on that today. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the British pound US dollars. A number of interesting things going on. You can remember that for the last several weeks I've been putting out buy positions on this, suggesting that it's going to move higher. I talked about in the Forex market outlook that we have the potential to push towards that 150 mark. Everything looks good and on track for that to actually take place. We've now closed at 148.02. We can see that there's a number of candlesticks at this 147.90 area, which has been somewhat of a sore point for the pound bulls. They couldn't get past this area. We've now closed above it. We've got some very strong support now building. We can see it sitting in at the 146.19, 146.41, and 147.30. These are our key levels of pivot support in this particular case. The reason I say pivot support is because again we have this triple EMA crossover getting ready to make that crossover to the upside. 3-day has crossed over the 8-day and the 18-day predicted moving average. We're now waiting for the 8-day to finish that cross over and above the 18-day predicted moving average for that buy signal. Now again, the last time we had a buy signal on the British pound was way back in March here. We can see we got this buy signal on the triple EMA crossover sitting at this, again, very similar area, a little higher, like around the 149 area. Then we shot up to 154, subsequently pulling back with the volatility in the equity market. So we've done our analysis here Again, the 3-day predicted moving average is a point of interest to us, 147.30. That's where I would suspect we want to get into these long positions, but let's go in and have a look at the daily report just to get confirmation of that. Now, looking at the daily report, we've got 147.18, 148.88. That's a very good, if we can get towards that 148.88, again, we're getting very close to our target in that 150 range. So for tomorrow, we're going to be looking for a pullback between 147.30 and 147.18. That's where we want to get into our buy positions. And again, the pullback is perfectly normal on a day-to-day basis. That doesn't mean the uptrend is done. What it means is that the currencies will seek out the high and they will seek out the low of the day unless something gets in its way. In this particular case at 147.18, I think the predicted 3-day moving average from Vantage Point is potentially going to get in the way of it getting to the 147.18, but it's still possible. The pound dollar is a very volatile pair, but we've been able to call it very accurately using the software as of late. So again, between 147.18 and 147.30, we want to use that to get into our buy positions. Now, going into our final trade for tomorrow, we're going to be going into the equity markets. Now, equities have a high correlation to the British pound US dollar, that, to say the least. Also to those light sweet crude contracts. So we want to be a little careful here about taking all three of these positions. But let's have a look at the S&P 500. What I see happening here, I talked about this in the Forex market outlook for the week, that the equities on a global basis are gaining strength. That is actually come to bear fruit here. They're all moving higher together. So what I see is that the predicted true strength indicator from Vantage Point has plenty of room to extend here. So what I mean by that is because where this indicator is sitting at the -20 level, we have this entire area for this to move higher. It looks like we're into a trending move here. We've got the 3-day crossing over the 8-day and the 18-day, but we do not have a triple EMA crossover just yet. But all of our main indicators are all pointing higher, so that's a very good sign. Now that we've identified that we want to buy this thing on a dip, we can see that we've closed at the 1113.50 area. That's a very good strong close. If you look, you can see up here all these different closing prices. This is the first time we've been back over that 1100 mark in quite some time, I think a couple of weeks now. So again, everything looks good. We've got our predicted short, medium, and long-term differences and our neural index all positive. So that's a very good sign for further longs here. We are going to see some resistance, however, in this 1121.60 area. So for tomorrow, we want to buy off the 1105.80 area, but we want to be sure to, I think, take some profit around this 1121 area, because I do believe that's going to present some resistance in that area in the short term. So again, for the S&P 500 tomorrow, we're going to be looking to buy off this 1105 area. We would like to see about a 15-point move, take our profit and run just in case, because you know the markets can turn on us very quickly in these equities. So we want to make sure we catch a real nice move on that and then get out. So those are the market positions for June the 16th, 2010. And again, my name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com.